Our next guest is sharing an interesting take on what is behind our nation's loneliness epidemic. It's a real thing out there. 54% of American adults report being isolated from others, while half say they feel left out or they just lack companionship. This is all according to a recent study. Harvard economist and CBS News contributor Roland Fryer is pointing the finger at modern conveniences like remote work and online shopping. He says that they remove the casual human interactions where friendship and community just naturally form. And Roland is here to fill in the blanks for us, Roland. Because the other day I was at the CVS. You know how they have the automatic thing? Yeah. And they say, you know, you can go use that over there. And I said, no, I don't like using those things because I do like human interaction. I do like human connection. Now, all these things that are supposed to make it easier for us are actually dividing us, you say.
Some of it is, yes.
Some of it is.
Look, at least you're going to the store. I'm
the
world's worst. So I want to say first, I probably shouldn't be the one moralizing about mispriced inconvenience. I've organized my life around it. I don't go to the grocery store anymore. I order groceries.
Wow.
I order DoorDash to come to the house with
clothing,
the food
shoes,
instead of going out.
It.
Everything, right? I even sometimes do the Peloton instead of going to the gym. There's some inconveniences that are great. I'm glad we've taken out the friction, but others have taken away those senses where you have some time and you interact with people naturally, and that's how friendships form.
Are you a lonely person?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I'd like to be
but
more
you're
lonely.
happy.
I have two daughters.
You're happy with your life, but
yeah.
Is this good for us?
Yeah, but even gaming now, when
gaming.
15, 20 years ago, you'd have a bunch of friends over to play video games. Now it's all done online.
Now you do it online.
Right? And so there are these things that, again, many of them and each one of them all sound great. But collectively, we have to be careful that we don't modernize things so much that we tear away from the social infrastructure that we've built.
You say that there's a distinction between good friction and bad friction. What is that difference?
Well, bad friction is, if a plane is delayed 2 hours, I don't make a lot of friends on the plane. It's just bad friction.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting. However,
and irritated.
Exactly. On the other hand, I ride the Peloton because I think to myself every morning, I'll be done in the time it takes me to get to the gym and back. But being at the gym, talking to new people, meeting people, that's probably good friction. So maybe I shouldn't always modernize that convenience.
Economically, there's a market for things like you mentioned marriage, education, entertainment, and we all indulge. But when it comes to the commodification of loneliness, of friendship, it still seems like we're so far off. Why is it so difficult?
Well, you're so right. When I first started thinking about loneliness, I thought, why hasn't the market solved this? It solves so many other things. And I think the honest answer is it's just a little weird to think about. I think there's something strange about for most Americans to think, I'm going to go to the market to find a friend.
Right.
And I think there's some stigma attached to that. So I don't think technology is quite caught up with that.
And social media was supposed to be that. But it seems like that has also caused a fracture between people.
Well, just because they call them friends don't mean they're friends, right?
Also true.
Online.
Friends need reassurance and repeated interactions and so online is a very, very different object.
It's also harder, or is it harder, I think, when you're an adult to make friends, to make new friends?
I don't think it's harder if you were to put yourself in similar social situations.
That's right.
I think the thing that happens, Gayle, is that as we get older, we modernize these things and make our lives efficient. So we're not sitting around the dorm room chatting about random things. We're not spending time consistently with the same types of people in low-stakes environments. That's what happens as we age. I think if I were to put all four of us back on a college campus for a few weeks, I think we'd make friends the same. The issue is we're not in those situations.
All right, Roland Fryer, you always dropping
Always
gems.
bringing the knowledge, Roland.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.